Hello, Spidey, everyone. Good evening. I think I owe you some explanations about the house. From my previous video that I uploaded, I saw quite many comments regarding the house. Thank you for your comments and your concern. Let me show you. So this house was built properly by an experienced builder. So they have 14 years of experience, and this is the actual foundation. So it's a proper concrete, and they dug the ground for 1 meter's depth before they, to build all those foundation up. So basically, it's higher than the above the ground, just to make sure that it won't sink. You see. And also this wall, so every 25 inches they insert the metal, both sides, so it connected to the column. So basically it holds from that side and then this side as well, so it won't collapse. So yeah, it's with that, I think it's gonna be strong enough. I saw some comment asking why don't we build the wooden wall instead of concrete wall. Well, unfortunately, the wooden wall won't last for long. Consider the climate in Laos. It's very hot, very humid, and lots of rain. With wooden wall, it would last maybe 4 or 5 years the most. With this concrete wall, it would last maybe 10 years or more if you plaster it properly. Plus, the wooden wall is much more expensive, so that's why the concrete wall is a better alternative for those who have low budget. And is it necessary to have the wall? Yes, because there's so many thieves, especially in area like this. They would steal anything, so that's why having a wall like this would protect your house. And this is not enough, so that's why they left the metal like that, so they will cover it with like sharp thorn metal to protect people from climbing up and stealing things. And this is just temporary as well, the gate. So after the house is finished, it's going to be a properly built gate, so it can last longer. So yeah, my brother obviously still needs to plaster this concrete, otherwise it won't last that long. And also, I had a chance to talk to the builder. So the total labor cost, they would charge 185 million kip with discount. So usually they would charge 200 million kip for this size of house. To finish everything, not including the wiring and plumbing installation, because they're not experienced in this field. So basically just the roof and then plaster and erecting the walls and all that. So 185 million, that is about $9,000, which is still very expensive for local people. So yeah, and like I said, this is the cheaper way to build it, where if you hire the contractor or the company, it will be a lot more, but then the convenience is going to be a lot faster. Now, like my brother said, it's almost 3 months, and then this is what he got, because there are only 2 builders. They're trying to get more people to work with them, but unfortunately it's so hard to find people here in Laos, because these days a lot of people just went to Thailand to work in the factory, and also a lot went to the Golden Triangle to work there. So yeah, it is hard to find people. So basically just only 2 of them and one of the wife come help them every day. And they work only like a few hours a day because it's too hot, and I can't blame them. So that's why it's kind of delayed, it's slow. Like my brother said, if you hire a proper contractor where they have enough workers, they have all the equipment, it should take about 4 months to complete the whole house. And also with the insulation, I saw some comments. Unfortunately, in Laos, we're trying to avoid building house with anything that catch fire easily, because like I said, Laos is very, very hot. The summer in Laos is very long. It's like 6, 7, 8 months long, very hot, like April, May. It can be as hot as 41, 42 degrees, and it's very humid. So it's very common that the houses in Laos would catch fire during this time of year because of the heat. So yeah, it would be nice if insulation works in this climate, but it's just not the case. So most people, if they want to have their house to be cooler, they just put double brick, to make it thicker, unfortunately. Yeah. So yeah, my brother is not around. He's dealing with some kind of mental breakdown after he's starting this project. It's a lot of work. So he's in Bangkok now. He's having a break for a week, you know, with his partner who lives in Bangkok. So they travel to see each other, and now I'm taking care of everything. So this morning I visited the workers and they were here, but then at 1 p.m. I just want to test if they would work whole day or not. I brought a bag of ice and some drink because it's so hot, and I came here, they're already gone. They've gone back home. So basically they just worked for like 3 hours. And again, I can't complain because it's too hot, very humid, and they haven't even finished that part yet. But they needed more lumbers, which I just went to the shop and ordered. So tomorrow they will deliver it. So yeah, it's Laos is cheap, but it's not that super cheap. When we talk about building the house like this, it does cost a lot, and you know it drains a lot of money. It's like 5 million extra here, 10 million extra there. And this is the sewage tank, so it's properly built. It's like 2.5 by 2.5 wide, and then 3 meters depth, and it should last at least 10 years according to the builder. So it connected to the pipe, as you can see, the green pipe to the house. So when you flush it, it will go all the way through here. Unfortunately, it's not like in America or in Europe where you connect it to the main pipe through the city. I think when you flush, it just goes somewhere else. But here in Laos, each house has to dig their own sewage tank, you know, to keep the waste. So yeah, like my brother said, he needs to fill with some earth in this area to make it higher so he can plant some veggies and all that. So anyway, well, I can't wait to see when the house is finished. Okay folks, so let me show you my piece of land. My partner and I, we bought this piece of land before COVID, so long before the inflation. And when we first bought it, it was just plain sight. It was as low as this piece, and then we spent a lot of money to build a retaining wall and refill it with like over 40 trucks of earth to have this level. So now it looks nice and proper. I just cleared it up last week. It's very fertile, lots of grass because of the rainy season. And this is our neighbor, and we also spent 8 million for the wall. So basically the wall was built by the neighbor as they wanted to build a house at a time, and they told us that, you know what, we're gonna build the wall for now and you can pay us whatever amount you want to. And then they decided to charge us only 8 million kip, which is a lot cheaper considering this size of wall. If I would build it now, it would cost at least 35 million kip, including the labor cost, I think. Yeah, it's a beautiful piece of land. I like it. I'm so happy that we bought it here because, as you can see, that is the sunset view, such beautiful. And then the view of the mountain as well. And I love the breeze. You know, it's always windy because it's quite higher up here. The large piece of land that we see from here with the wall surrounding it, it's going to be a church if it is approved by the governors. Actually, it's still pending now. So I think it was for an organization. They bought this piece of land under a Lao person's name, and they're going to build the biggest church in Luang Prabang. We already have like 3 churches in Luang Prabang. Now let me tell you why it's not easy to build church or mosque in Laos. Well, because it's Buddhist country and the government is trying to keep it that way. We're just too proud of our Buddhist culture, and we don't want, you know, any other religion to be dominant in the future. Even now, if you live in Luang Prabang for a long time, you will know that some expats who came here as Christian missionary, so they set up business and then they went to countryside in other province, and then they convert locals one by one. The governments don't like it, locals don't like it as well. So people in the countryside, Lao people, they're so vulnerable, they're so naive, so they become a main target for this missionary. So basically these people would come here and then they start some kind of non-profit organization. Let's say they plant a coffee in a village somewhere in the north of Laos, and they get to know people, and that's when they convert people with some promise of maybe scholarship and things like that. I don't know. Anyway, enough with that. So folks, this piece of land is still not yet sold. It belongs to the same owner that I bought it from. It's the same size, 25 by 15, and they're selling it now for 550 million kip. Compared to before, I paid only 153 million, so that's a lot more because of inflation. And this piece was sold for 450 million last year because of it's quite low, that's why it's cheaper. So before we built this retaining wall, the owner was not very happy because he said, well, it's too high and it's hard for him to sell that piece. I'm like, well, I already bought, so I can do whatever I want. So my partner convinced me to build NatNomad house in this piece of land. I haven't decided yet. There are a few reasons why I am so hesitating to build a house. Number one is because I can't afford it. So basically he's going to fund it. He's going to pay for everything. For me, it would be more proud if I can build it with my own money, or at least 50% of my money with his money, 50% if we build it together. Number two, because I've learned from my previous relationship, it becomes, I don't know, it's a trauma, you call it. I mean, I shouldn't compare because everyone was different. You know, when me and my boyfriend were together back then, the one who's from Belgium, you know, it was not long after I left the temple, so it was so new to me. And I just got my first job at the hotel, so I earned $60 per month at the time. So when we were together, he covered everything, the costs, the rent, everything, and everything that we own at our place was covered by him, so bought by him. And according to him, when we were together, when everything was perfect, everything was ours. You know, this is ours. We also bought motorbike. It was quite expensive. It was like $3,000, and he paid it. Again, this is our motorbike, blah, blah, blah. But then when the relationship gone sour, when we started to have problem, and then we decided to break up, everything from ours becomes everything is mine. So anything that he owns it, that he bought it, he took it back, including the motorbike, even though it was under my name, because foreigners couldn't own properties in Laos, neither vehicle, so it has to be under local's name. So basically the motorbike was under my name, and he took it back, which is okay, it's fair enough because he paid for it. Let's say if I could have turned to be horrible person, if I wanted to take it away from him, what could he do? But I know myself, me being me, I don't take things that is not given. So yeah, I gave him back, but I asked him to change the name. So basically change from my name into his friend's name, who is also local, the one that he trusts. Why? Because if something happened, let's say if he crashed or killed somebody, I will be the one who should be responsible for it because it's under my name according to law. Please don't get me wrong, my previous partner was not a horrible person or anything. In fact, he's one of the best people that came into my life. You know, I grew a lot through our relationship, and he had done a lot of good things for me. But when things went wrong, we blame each other a lot, and it was so bitter. So both of us turned into each other in a nasty way, and you know, we just couldn't stand each other. We blocked each other. And then some time later I managed to return some of his money. You know, he took me to Europe to meet with his mom, and I appreciate it. And then after we broke up, he did mention about how much he had spent for the trip to Europe. He didn't ask for it, but the fact that he mentioned about it, I kind of feel like maybe he wanted it back. So it took me a while to pay some of the money back. It was not like whole cost, but it was about 20,000 baht I gave him, you know, almost a year later after I managed to save some money. So yeah, something like that. So yeah, after this problem, I kind of learned it's very under my nerve, and I just don't want to deal with this problem again, to be honest. You know, I'm too old for this. I don't know. So when I left him, I got like a few pair of plates, a few bowls, and like a couple of spoons and a pot, and it was okay because technically he owns everything. And because of that experience, it becomes a trauma for me. If something like this happen in a relationship or partnership, if they fully own it, I think twice. So the reason that I am so hesitating to build the house is because, let's say if our relationship goes wrong in the future, then what's going to happen after I build the house? After I spend many months, you know, taking care of the work and everything, what's going to happen? Are we going to sell it? Is he going to take it back? So that, again, I mean, I shouldn't compare because I know my partner for more than 10 years and he's quite reliable. His action and word kind of matching, but still, you never know. When it comes to money, you never know. People can change their minds, you know. When everything is good, it's good, but let's say if something goes wrong and it goes badly, what's going to happen? That's other thing. Another thing, I see my brother, he's going through mental breakdown because of the house. So much work and a lot of this, a lot of that, and he's so unrested. And I'm not sure if I would put so much energy into it like that, unless if we can afford to hire a contractor to do it, the whole thing. I don't know. So he asked me to think about it. So let's say one day in the future, if I ever change my mind, we may see a NatNomad tiny house in this piece of land. I don't like big house. I want it tiny. So the reason that my partner wants to build a house is because he wants to come live here for a couple of months per year. Let's say maybe a few months in Luang Prabang, a few months in London, a few months in Ireland. That's the plan. But let's see. Anyway, folks, I think that's it for today's video. I've been talking so much already. So yeah, I'll see you in the next EP.